What's up, Nationals fans? You've waited and you've watched the rebuild the last several years, but could 2026 be the year it starts to click? After 5 of the last 6 years, the Nationals have finished in last place in the NL East. Let's break down the projected 2026 Washington Nationals lineup, the pitching staff, and the big questions that could define this roster. Let's get started. Starting catcher, Keibert Ruiz still really is the backbone behind the plate for this team. Switch hitter, one of their leaders, and a steady presence on the roster. Still has several years on his contract, so I do expect him to be the main starter here for the Nationals. And backing him up will be Riley Adams, who does have a strong arm and power alongside him to be a nice complement to Ruiz. Now, one of the big question marks this upcoming year for the Nationals will be first base. They do no longer have Josh Bell, who did have a down year for the Nationals this past year. But let's see, who could it be? Could it be Andres Chaparro? He's very much in the mix with his raw power. I'm not sure if he's quite the guy, though. What do you think? Could Luis Garcia Jr. happen to make the move to first base? His battle play, it'll open up some infield flexibility, but it's definitely worth watching for this roster here in the coming months. And if he does slide over, that means Nasim Nunez, who is a player with elite defense, very good speed, high baseball IQ, and a guy who sets the tone for this team. Could he grow into a spot to push Luis Garcia out of second base? Leave your comments down below. I believe he might do that, and Chaparro could be a bench position on this roster here. CJ Abrams, as of right now, this is his team. He's got speed, pop, confidence, absolute star energy, though he is highly expected to be traded over these next possible coming months. So we'll see where he winds up if he does happen to be traded. At third base, I expect Brady House to be their starting third baseman. He's a power bat, strong arm, and likely future fixture at the hot corner here for the Nationals. And likely utility, multi-position value in Jose Tena. I do expect him to also make the roster with some good energy, edge alongside him, and the positional value that he has could help this team get back into the playoffs. Now, the crown jewel of this roster, in my opinion, is the outfield. Having James Woods with his massive frame, massive upside, absolute middle of the order nightmare for years to come. Expect him to hit 30 home runs for the next 10 plus years. There's one issue is strikeouts. He does need to cut that down at over 220 strikeouts this past year, but I expect him to improve year in, year out, and hope he can continue being the absolute star he is as well. Center field, I personally expect Jacob Young to, for the most part, maintain the starting position with his elite defense, blazing speed, though did get caught stealing many times this past year, and is a winning baseball player at the same time. I do believe he's a valuable asset, to this team and should be the starter. Dylan Cruz is a 5-tool potential player. Did struggle this past year. Possible franchise centerpiece vibes, in my opinion. I think he still has it, could have it. He definitely had a down year in 2025, but a lot of players do have down years, and they get right back to it. Bench, someone, depending on how they fill the DH, Lile could be a starter as well. He's quite athletic, spark plug for this team. Can fit a couple roles for this team as well. So I think he should also make the 26-man roster. And I do believe Robert Hassell III will make this roster as well. High contact bat, versatility for himself on this roster. Now, let's get to the starting rotation. MacKenzie Gore, absolute ace at this point. Absolute wipeout stuff. Legit number one. Though, also, just like CJ Abrams, another potential trade candidate would get massive value back, in my opinion. We'll see if he does happen to be traded here in the next coming months, but absolute number one on this team, presently speaking. Now, Cade Cavalli. I believe he's going to be one of their starters this year. Strong velocity, absolute frontline starter upside. Did have his ups and downs. Was once, top 25 prospect in Major League Baseball. We'll see if he can get back there, but a power arm and vast potential to help this team over the years to come. Brad Lord, sneaky upside, multiple position. He can definitely be a long reliever. He could be a starter. I believe he's going to be a starter this upcoming year, and opportunities knocking for him with his sneaky upside, and I believe he can definitely impress and continue. Now, the Nationals recently did sign Foster Griffin for $5.5 million, so I do expect him to be in the starting rotation, bring some stability, should be able to log a lot of innings, hits. It's a ground ball pitcher as well, so I think he's going to be a good option for this roster here. Josiah Gray, I think as long as he's healthy, will be on this roster. Still has lots of swing and miss in his ability, but injury prone, so let's see if he can stay healthy or not. And lastly, as another rotation depth piece, depending on Gray, Jake Irvin. He's been reliable, steady, underrated, but could potentially slide into a long relief role, depending on what occurs here. Now, let's get to the bullpen and late innings role. My projected closer for the Nationals will be Cole Henry. Has absolute electric stuff. I expect him to be the closer if healthy and without any additions. Not many people really can fill that role here. If added to the team, Sir Anthony Dominguez is probably the only one off the top of my head that should push him for a role if brought on. But I do expect Cole Henry to be the guy. Clayton Beeter, high upside arm, also should be fighting for that closer role, depending on health of Cole Henry as well. I think he's got high potential as well. Jackson Rutledge, another high upside reliever. Orlando Ribalta, the 97 mile per hour fastball, strong changeup. Expect him to make the roster. And a few lefties I expect. PJ Poulin, some relief depth, though upside on his side. And Konnor Pilkington, another lefty for the roster. Now that makes 25 on their main active roster, and I do expect Griff McGarry to make the roster, who is their Rule 5 pick, Rule 5 X Factor, in my opinion. He's got a big arm, more of a big risk, big reward player with a 70 grade slider who I expect to make the roster, but slide into the bullpen. Was a starter this past year, reliever 2 years ago, in the Phillies organization. Now, let's get into the remainder of the 40-man roster here. Mitchell Parker has been a 2-year starter. Not sure, he hasn't succeeded much these past couple years, so I do expect him to be a AAA starter and fill in as needed. Also, Andrew Alvarez, starting depth. I expect him to help as needed for this team. a long reliever and spot starter in Lau, who came from the Mariners organization. Riley Cornelio, a pitcher who has basically followed Brad Lord's momentum as a reliever and starter and earned himself a spot on this 40-man roster. And at some point will make his MLB debut for this team. Jake Eder, long reliever, spot starter as well. Probably will be a reliever if brought up to this team. Andres Chaparro, a top 30 prospect on the Nationals, and at some point should be called up. Luis Perales, a starter with a 70 fastball grade, which averages 99 at some point. I think he's their fifth top prospect, one of their top guys. And I do expect him to make this roster at some point throughout the year and make his MLB debut. Another top 30 prospect, an outfielder though, Christian Franklin, who they received from the Cubs this past year. A once top 100 prospect, still has some high potential at the same time, but will make the roster at some point and help this team grow. We've got catcher Drew Mellis, catching depth. Harry Ford, who is presently a top 50 MLB prospect, and I expect to make the roster at midpoint, as I did receive him in a trade with the Mariners. Now, there are several other on this 40-man roster, in Trevor Williams and DJ Hers. Both are expected to be on the DL to begin the year already. At this point, likely probably both 60-day DLs too, so with these injuries, I expect the Nationals to grab another two arms for the roster. Where do they turn? We'll see. I think they could use a little more depth with left-handed arms. I don't think they're as strong in that regard. Now, with all this said, this is a roster by no means perfect, but it's exciting. It's got young stars in the outfield, a potential ace in Gore, bearing they don't trade Gore. Real bullpen upside, but some big decisions looming with the potential to trade their current stars in CJ Abrams and MacKenzie Gore. If the development breaks right for a lot of these players, could 2026 be the year the Nationals officially turn the page and make the playoffs? I personally don't believe so. I think they're going to struggle in their division. Love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. Also, will Luis Garcia Jr. be the first base option here? Who's going to be the Nationals' breakout star? Thanks for listening. Please give a like, subscribe, and watch out for more videos. Thanks, everybody.